Gerald, thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity to share. Just one correction, Gerald. I'm not a cancer survivor. I'm a cancer victor, and there's a difference. Uh, but yes, I think I'd like to thank all of the three previous speakers. Because in all of your in your prayer and your initial speech, you mentioned, well, the prayer was that we won't just be listeners, but we will be actually doers, because that's what is needed at this minute. It's probable that you've heard all what I've said before, and you will probably switch off mentally. So I'm not here to come and give you a lecture. Okay, I'm here so that we can all grow together. Um, so if you have questions, please put them in the chat. If we can't answer all of them, don't worry. Over the next few days, we will answer, because some of the questions will be common, and we will try and, answer all of the questions. At the end, I will leave some time. And Daryl, if you can just keep an eye on the time and tell me, when it's about 10 minutes or whatever, so, I can finish off and then answer any questions that come up, because that will be helpful as far as timekeeping is concerned. The other thing is, as we're talking about being doers, it is important that today it's more like an introduction. I'm just going to give you an overview of what we're going to do. But there is a request. I know we are only here together for 4 or 5 days, but 4 or 5 days can make a big difference if we can all make one change. I'm not asking you to do a whole lot of changes, but just listen to what we are saying. And, if there's anything in your particular lifestyle that you feel needs to change, or you would like to, and you've always been meaning to, this is a good time to make that change. And also, it's not something that I will just come and then continue tomorrow. I will ask questions, and I will ask what you have done to make that change. Because as Pastor Paul Singh mentioned, you can have various people come and talk, and we've heard the message many times. But what we're trying to do is put it into practice. And unless we make a start, we're never going to start. It's not tomorrow that the change needs to come. It's going to come tonight. I know it's evening for you, so you probably won't be eating. I'm hoping that none of you will be eating now, because it's too late. But we've got tomorrow, and what you're going to do tomorrow. Hopefully what we listen today will trigger what you're going to do tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. It only takes so many days before you can make changes. But once you've made the changes, in Daniel chapter 1, all they asked for was 10 days. 5 of those days we're going to be together, and you just need 5 more days to add to what we're going to be learning. And in those 10 days, I can assure you, you will notice the difference. And if you're not noticing the difference, that means you're not doing what is required of you. So I'm going to share the screen. And so because there'll be quite a lot of things on the screen. So I might not be able to see your reactions, in which case, by all means, put your chat, put your words in the chat, and we'll talk about it. Any specific questions to do with challenges that you specifically have, I'll give you my email, or whoever, maybe Daryl, you can email them to him, and then we'll see how we can answer some of those specific questions. General questions, of course, because it'll relate to all of us. Okay, so here we are. Okay, the thing. Oh, sorry. I need you to be. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Okay, so I've entitled this, Let Food Fight for You. And as we go, we will see why that was what I entitled. The greatest wealth is health. And yet, that's not the amount of time that we spend on our health. Now, this was a couple of these researches that I have done, I've just recently come across, and I thought they were important that we look at these. So there's the Harvard Health advises that a healthy immune system is the first line of defense against infections like COVID-19. Nutrition is intricately linked to immunity and to risk and the severity of the infection. The ideal healthy diet is one that emphasizes more fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and nuts, and less, or preferably none, of animal products, refined foods, and sugar. Such a diet will provide appropriate amounts of healthy macronutrients and essential minerals and vitamins. And then this one, Journal of Molecular Medicine. A study published in the Journal of Molecular Medicine noted that zinc could have protective effects against COVID-19 by supporting antiviral immunity and reducing inflammation. Healthy sources of zinc include, again, look at what it includes: legumes, so that's lentils, beans, chickpeas, nuts, seeds, especially pumpkin seeds and sesame seeds, soya, vegetables like spinach, broccoli, kale, garlic, as well as whole grains like brown rice and wheat and oats. A high fiber diet could help control the inflammatory responses associated with COVID-19. But remember, it's inflammatory responses. When you have disease, your body will have inflammation. According to an article published in the journal Gut Microbes, this is primarily due to the positive impact of fiber on the gut microbiome. Tiny microorganisms found in the gastrointestinal tract. These are critical in the regulating the body's immune response to infection and play an important role in preventing damage to lungs and other vital organs. Healthy sources of fiber: whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. And this is interesting. 94% of people who had COVID-19 also had other conditions listed. COVID-19 alone was cause of death for 6%. Notice. So the medical director of Stanford says, results are really not a big surprise, as patients who have a comorbidity such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity have higher risk of getting seriously ill and dying from COVID-19. Okay, now this is important because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a health professional. The views and services offered by startanew are not intended to be a substitute for professional medical service, but as an alternative for those who are seeking solutions for better health. We do not claim to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any disease, but simply help you make physical and mental changes in your own body in order to help your body heal itself. Keep in mind that results may vary, and if you're pregnant, nursing, taking medications, or have a serious conditions, you should consult a physician or other appropriate medical professionals prior to using any products or information that we share. Okay, so the 5 sessions from today to Thursday. Today is the why, that's the introduction. Then the amazing benefits of fruits and vegetables. How much is sufficient? Let's get practical. So we're actually going to have a practical session about fruits and vegetables and how to use them, and then healing herbs and spices. So this is, I'm properly starting the session now. Welcome. This is for you if you are facing challenges with lifestyle diseases like cancer, diabetes, heart issues, COVID. This is for you if you wish to move to the next level of your health journey. So you're already following a health journey, but you'd really want to move to the next level. This is for you if you want to make changes, but don't know how. Because many times we hear this is good for you, this is good for you, but it is the how do you make those changes is what we are talking about. This is also for you if you're looking at the reasons behind a healthy lifestyle. Now, I've chosen the why because I find that if I know why I have to do certain things, it's just easier. It may not be, it may not be simple, but it may be just easier for me to try and make the effort to put into principles, what we're talking about. What are we doing? Do we have a choice? If we're not doing some of the things that we're talking about, is that the choice we're making? Is it a conscious choice that we're making? Or do we just are we just doing now, today, or this week? This is just a reminder to rethink our choices. And then the importance of a holistic lifestyle. My plate, how colorful, and do we really need to do exercise? Now, I hope you agree with me. You are not a statistic. Pastor Singh very nicely pointed out, God wants us to have abundant life, an abundant life here and now. More than 1,300 Indians die every day due to cancer. Over 1/3 of all deaths in the UK can be attributed to behavioral risk factors, including tobacco smoking, poor diet, alcohol consumption, and low physical activity. 34% of all deaths. And this is what the Lancet study says. Poor diet leads to hundreds of deaths in India annually. And normally when you think of India and a poor diet, you think because they're poor financially. But is it really the case? According to a Lancet study, which found that globally, 1 in 5 people, that's globally, died due to the lack of optimal amounts of foods and nutrients on their plates. The report, which tracked trends in consumption of 15 dietary factors from 1990 to 2017 in 195 countries, showed that almost every region of the world could benefit from rebalancing their diets. Now, I just want you to think back for the first few research that I mentioned. You know what they were talking about? Fruits, vegetables, whole grains. You know where else that is mentioned? In the Bible, Genesis 1:29. In Daniel 1, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and nuts, of course. The study estimates that 1 in 5 deaths globally, equivalent to 11 million deaths, are associated with poor diet. And diet contributes to a range of chronic diseases in people around the world. In 2017, more deaths were caused by diets with too low amounts of foods such as whole grains, fruits, nuts, and seeds. Now, I want you to think back of your own plate and of your own everyday diet. Do you have whole grains, fruits, nuts, and seeds? Or have you got the trans fats, sugary drinks, and high levels of red and processed meats? Lifestyle in India. Cardiovascular disease, leading cause of mortality, 1 in 4 deaths. And if you look at some of these diseases, it's over here CVD, that's the cardiovascular disease, the high blood pressure, and diabetes and cancer. They're all lifestyle diseases, which means that we have a much bigger part to play than medication. Every 4th and 9th individual above 18 years has high blood pressure and elevated blood glucose. This is in India. Behavioral risk factors, lack of physical activity, tobacco, alcohol use, poor diet. Now, this is very interesting. Diabetes increases with affluence and better education sections. 500,000 deaths from cancer every year in India. Yeah, we mentioned this. Poor diets associated with 11 million deaths worldwide. And the world's biggest killer is ischemic heart disease. Now, and we're going to be talking about what that poor diet or nutrient-rich diet is. Sometimes it is not what you are eating, but what you are not eating. And that is important. So I want to share with you where I'm coming from and where I will get my information from. Startanew, it's a mnemonic. You would have heard of New Start. You would have heard of various other letters put together. I used startanew, which is sunlight, trust in God, air, rest, temperance, attitude, nutrition, exercise, and water. And it's the synergy of all these together that makes a difference. It's not just food. It's not just what you eat or you don't eat. It's all of these elements put together. And right through the 5 days, we will touch on these as we go. The other source that I have will be Genesis 1:29 to 30. I've given you every sort of seed-bearing plant on earth and every kind of fruit-bearing tree, given them to you for food. To all animals and all birds, everything that moves and breathes, I give whatever grows out of the ground for food. And Daniel 1:12, give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. And at the end of the 10 days, they looked healthier and better nourished. Now, you've heard all this before. So let me share with you an analogy. Now I'm going to have, can you see? Hello. So here is a quick explanation of the goldfish bowl analogy, a concept which you can improve your health upon if you understand the basic principles. There's always a need for medical intervention, a time, short-term or long-term, depending on your circumstances. But then there's a part that we have to play as well. So listening to this, I'm hoping that you will understand the basic principle that I'm trying to explain. Now, the goldfish bowl analogy is what we need to remove the toxicity going into our body and replace the deficiencies that we're not getting, because of the pollution in our environment, where our cells and body, meaning we're adding a whole lot of rubbish to our body and our body simply can't cope. Like the goldfish, which I'll be showing you, all living animals, including ourselves, has a natural filtration system. That means it can cope with a certain amount of anything every day. But if you get beyond what it can cope with, you'll start to show signs of disease. So here is my goldfish bowl. I've got a fish in there, but it's not gold, it's blue. So it's in clear water and having a comfortable life, so long as I don't, the water is not polluted too much. What will happen if I, say, get up in the morning and want a cup of coffee, maybe? You can see I'm polluting the environment that the fish is in. Or you might prefer, or maybe later, have some tea. Now, tea has milk and sugar in it as well. Now, you could have this before you start the day, and maybe would like to have a biscuit with it, or maybe have some bread to go for your breakfast. And it's white bread where all the nutrition has been taken off. And then as the day wears on, you might have a little bit of various things that, in India we have the kurkure, which are quite tasty and it. Or we might have some other crisps, which are quite then we might say, oh, maybe I'll just have another biscuit for my, what's happening? My fish is still in the water, but the water is getting polluted. It may show signs of maybe a cough, and I'll say, oh, you've got a cough. I've got a solution for that. I can give you some cough syrup. So here's the cough syrup, and we're attacking the symptoms here, and it helps. It helps for a while. And then I go on for the rest of the day when maybe I have maybe a samosa to add to the mix. The samosa, it's fried, it's white flour again, and but it fills the stomach, and I'm enjoying it. And then you might have, a cold drink to go with it, squash, and it has lots of sugar in it. Or maybe you might just want to have some Tudor or some Bombay mix, which is great as well. And then you can have some Coke. If this says 0 sugar, but sometimes a normal can will have at least 7 to 10 teaspoons of sugar, which can literally stop your immune system for so long. This has 0 sugar, but what else is added to it, which may be harmful. But if you're driving and you're going to stop and have maybe a burger and a drink to go with it, again, you're filling your stomach, but how much nutrition is your body getting? More and more pollution. And what you will find is, although the body can cope with so much, it cannot continue to cope with filtering all that is being polluting its environment. So I'm going to stop here, and we're going to talk a little bit about it in a minute as well. It's a very simple analogy, and you probably realize that you might say that, oh, well, I don't do that, or I don't eat that, or whatever. But then you might have a different lifestyle. So I just want you to understand the principle of what I've shown over there. Okay, so just bear with me with your keynote. Cancel. Okay. Play. Okay. So warning signs. All living creatures, as I've mentioned over there, have a natural filtration system that can handle a certain amount of just about anything. However, if you keep adding more and more junk into that water, the body's going to struggle. The poor fish is going to show symptoms of disease. Symptoms are just warning lights telling the body that there is something wrong. That's when your inflammation comes. That's when your pains come. And what do we normally do when you have that? Take a paracetamol because I've got a headache, or go to the doctor and the doctor will give you medication. And then it's again attacking the symptoms. So we feel good for a while, but nothing else changes. Look, the body is trying to tell you that there is a problem. You refuse to listen to it. I've given you an example of warehouse full of boxes. If you think of a warehouse and it's full of boxes, and the employer says we want all these boxes out of the warehouse, we'll have several people coming to clear the warehouse. Comes to the end of the day, the warehouse is not cleared. The next day, you'll have leftovers from from yesterday, plus you will have more to be clearing. And what you'll find is you're just not clearing the warehouse, which is your body, as quickly as the warehouse is being filled. So can you see where I'm coming from? So what is the solution with the fish? Do you give it medicine, or do you want to change the terrain? What is logical? Change the terrain. I'm assuming that you all are listening and you agree with me. And that is where, we see what Hippocrates is saying. Let food be your medicine. Because if you understand what food is giving you, it has this natural detoxifying, clearing your system, giving it the nutrition. And as I said, with the food analogy, two things we were trying to do: remove the toxicity and replace the deficiency. That's why I said sometimes it's not just what you are eating, but what it is not eating. In which case, are you giving your body so that it is not deficient? So, solution from what we have seen, research shows, Bible shows, Daniel 1 shows, fruits and vegetables. So why eat more fruits and vegetables? Because we're changing the terrain, we're changing the environment. Fruits and vegetables are a good source of vitamins and minerals. So they're going to replace the deficiencies. They're an excellent source of dietary fiber, which can help maintain healthy gut, prevent constipation and other digestion problems. So you're removing the toxicity. See, it is important what we eat, how we eat. But we are in many ways taking out the dietary fiber, which does a whole lot of cleansing for us. Diet high in fiber can also reduce your risk of bowel cancer, can lower blood pressure, reduce heart disease, stroke, prevent some types of cancers and diabetes. Now, I don't know how many are on the call, but if we just ask how many of us either on the call or in the family of those on the call have these problems. I've highlighted in color just to see cancer, blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, blood sugar, eye problems. They're all common problems for which we just go to the doctor. And yet, what we need to do, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor, but what I am saying is we need to take on our responsibility to change the terrain. Eating a diet of fruits and vegetables daily can help reduce the risk of many leading causes of illness and death, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, some cancers, and obesity. Fruits and vegetables are anti-inflammatory. When you've got inflammation in the body, you want something which is anti-inflammatory. Something I don't mean as anti-inflammatory tablets, but here fruits and vegetables. They are anti-inflammatory and antioxidants. Diseases cause inflammation in the body. Now, over here in the UK, the NHS promotes 5 a day. You ask any child or any adult, how many pieces of fruits and vegetables? They will say 5 because it's been drummed in us for a few years now. However, if you actually ask how many pieces of fruits and vegetables do you eat as an individual, that's a totally different story. People will just shrug their shoulders. Now, I want to ask you the same question. How many pieces of fruits and vegetables do you eat daily? Forget daily. Now is an end of the day. I want you to write in the chat how many pieces of fruits and vegetables you have eaten today. If today has been unusual, check yesterday. How many did you have yesterday? You know, the WHO, that's the World Health Organization, recommends 9 to 11 portions per day. It will be interesting. So what's our health challenge here? How many pieces of fruits and vegetables did you eat today? Is it possible that you have to tell yourself, I need to eat more fruits and vegetables? So let's increase one new fruit and 1 extra portion of vegetable. Is that simple? And make your plate colorful. So that's about nutrition, and we're going to talk more about it. And I'm going to also show you how we're going to increase that. It's not going to happen overnight, but I can give you a whole lot of examples as well. Physical activity. How many of us do physical activity? What will physical activity do? It will increase health benefits. I know all of you know this, but I'll say it again, and I'll share it again anyway. It increases the health benefits. It increases your HDL, which is the good cholesterol. It gives you muscular strength and flexibility, increases your bone density. You know, as we get older, your bone density, especially if you're eating any form of animal products, which is milk, dairy, milk and dairy, yeah, eggs, meat, chicken, fish, that is not going to help your bone density. Physical activity is essential as well. Work productivity, immune system, your mood, your sleep, your muscle mass, metabolism, all that increases with physical activity. Then it lowers the health risks. Your LDL, bad cholesterol, is reduced. Your high blood pressure, it'll help when you have physical activity. Type 2 diabetes. I mean, Pastor mentioned type 2 diabetes. It's so common. You know, you can almost hear people say, oh, well, you know, when you come to that age, you get diabetes. People shrug their shoulders and say, my father had it, my mother had it. That is nothing to do with you. Type 2 diabetes is reversible. Simple thing, if nothing else changes, right after you eat, walk for 10 minutes. 10, 15 minutes. Well, at least start off with 10 minutes after each meal. If you're grazing all day, then you'll be walking all day. But if you have your regular 3 meals, then you need to walk exactly just after your eating. It'll help with cancer, common cold, on-the-job injuries, and obesity. What's the health challenge here? How many of us walk or exercise daily? You know, you don't have to go to the gym. You can walk from home. You can go out and walk, so you're getting the fresh air as well. Walk at least 10 minutes after each meal. This is interesting. Walking as little as 2 hours per week can help you live longer and reduce the risk of disease. 2 hours per week. That's all is needed. That is only if you're scraping, but if you do more, you feel better. Our bodies were designed to move. Walking benefits, activates the lymphatic system, eliminates toxins, fights infections, strengthens your immunity. Take several small walks, break up movement throughout the day, then to work out for 30 to 40 minutes in the gym and sit all day. Instead of that, you know, even I don't know if you're still working from home or you're working at the work, but every hour, just get up and move. Walk to the grocery store, park a spot furthest from the shop so you have a longer walk to go. At work, walk 5 minutes each hour. Take a long walk, 30 to 40 minutes, at least once a week. Well, you need more than that. Grains. We'll cover a little bit more of this as well. A grain is a small, hard, dry seed with or without an attached hull or fruit layer, harvested for human or animal consumption. A grain crop is a grain-producing plant, 2 main types, cereals and legumes. Cereals are the rice, corn, rye, wheat. Grains are the millet, barley, teff, oats, sorghum. That's jowar, bajri in India as well. Pseudo cereals, quinoa. Okay, quinoa, I don't think it's grown in India. It's South American. Amaranth, rajgira. It is so nutritious. I realized rajgira growing up, but that was a poor man's food. Buckwheat, I think it's called kuttu in India. And chia seeds, again, may not be in India or may be very expensive. Legumes, kidney, lima, navy bean, pinto bean, soya, and garbanzo beans, black-eyed peas, split peas. India is so lucky in its nutrition because we have so many lentils and beans in our, well, growing in plenty, and we have it in our diet if you choose it. So and the reason why we're doing this is because of fiber. Can lower your cholesterol levels, control your blood sugar levels, means your diabetes will be under control, maintain your weight because high fiber foods are more filling, improves your skin, flushes toxins from the body. I'd say this is only if you want to look good and feel great. If you want to continue the way you are, no problem. This is a choice that you're making. Reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. And the greatest sources of fiber, organic, whole grains, vegetables, fruits, flaxseed, forget the fortified cereals, beans, carrots, barley, nuts, cauliflower, green beans, carrots, and citrus fruits. Anything look familiar? So I've come to almost to the end, but this is my challenge to you. Just one thing challenge. Make one healthy change today that fits in with your life. Is there something about your daily diet that you'd like to change? We've been there, and it's hard to make those changes. So let's start small. Whether it's passing on a samosa or fried food and going for a piece of fruit instead, or if you have a hot drink in the morning, skipping the sugar from your morning drink, or drinking one extra glass of water. Make the change and see how you feel. Some more changes. Remember, I'm not asking you to change everything. Add a large serving of leafy greens to lunch and dinner every day. You can choose any of this. Switch your beverages to drinking only water. Walk briskly for 15 minutes after meals. Well, I said 10 minutes. You can do 10 to 15 minutes, whichever. Swap dessert and snacks and your Indian sweets to your fresh fruit. Cook meals with no oil. This is very hard for Indians. I know because I'm one and I've had certain challenges, and I live with my mom who thinks my food is not very good because I don't use enough oils and spices. But here we are doing this to make changes. So if you want to reverse your diabetes or your blood pressure or your cholesterol or your cancer, some of these are essential. Remove dairy from your eating plan. Did you know Indians, 90, I think the ratio is 94% of Indians are not allergic. They are, the word will come to me, as far as dairy is concerned. We can't digest it. So why eat it? Eat oats for breakfast every day with fresh fruit and ground flax. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about ground flax as well. Eat all meals at home or pack your meals for 7 days, because when you go out, it is more difficult to keep an eye on what you're eating. Okay, so here I've got 3 recipes for you. Very simple. One is a detox tea. Now, this I've put in particularly because, we can't put in all good stuff into our body, as we're going to be learning, that we're going to be changing into, what our eating habits are. We need to make sure that our exits are all clear, that we are detoxing, we are cleansing. 70% of the people, I was going to say Western world, but actually India comes in that as well, have problems with not necessarily just digestion, but constipation. And 70% of that 70% have diseases which are directly related to constipation. So let's get our toxic waste out. Simple: ginger, turmeric, and water. You probably already do it. Ginger is known for aiding digestion and reducing nausea. Wonderful health benefits with ginger, including the treatment of osteoarthritis, cancer, Alzheimer's. Ginger can potentially reduce blood sugar levels, relieve heart disease, risk factors, and reduce cancer risk. Turmeric carries similar anti-inflammatory properties to ginger and is another good source of powerful antioxidants. You know, the Western world has only now come to realize how good ginger and turmeric and garlic are, which in India we've used it for years. And that is a part of our normal diet. Prevention power against horrible diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, also relieve arthritic pain, improves memory, fight age-related chronic diseases. This tea is great in the springtime, but has countless benefits all the year round. How do you do it? 2 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of freshly grated ginger, 1 teaspoon turmeric root or turmeric root powder, 1 teaspoon natural sweetener of your choice, 2 lemon and lime juice. Again, that is optional, but lime and lemon are absolutely very good as well. Crushed pepper. I don't tend to have crushed pepper because, but research shows that if you put turmeric with, well, the crushed pepper with the turmeric, it enhances the benefits of the turmeric. So you just grind them and then add the water, bring the mixture to a boil, simmer for about 15 minutes, because that's when, you know, all of it comes, the liquid will boil down, strain, and enjoy. Or fruit chart. Now I'm using the recipes which you are familiar with. I don't even have to, you know, tell you. But fruit chart is only used, okay, well, I might be wrong here, and maybe you do eat it regularly, but tell me once, you know, we start asking the questions. Do you use this regularly? You can use. And now look at why we're talking about the fruits, okay? Apples, good source of fiber, potassium, vitamin C, good for your heart, reduce risk of diabetes, promote good bacteria, help prevent cancer, help fight asthma, are good for bone health, and protects your brain. Why wouldn't you have an apple? Bananas contain several essential nutrients and provide benefits related to digestion and heart health. Grapes, high in nutrients and antioxidants. Watermelons are full of antioxidants that can curb your risk of cancer and diabetes. Having said that, if you're doing a fruit chart, I wouldn't add the watermelon here. I would add all the melons together, but in the fruit chart, don't add the watermelon. You know, just have all the other fruits. Pomegranate is packed with nutrition, can help prevent many diseases. Oranges, high levels of vitamin C. Pineapple aids digestion, boosts immunity, fight inflammation and diseases. Isn't it amazing how God gives us all these medicinal nutrients we need in the fruits He created for us? So that's the fruit chart. You know, I think you'll know it, but you can, you know, we can let you have it anyway. Again, adding the cumin powder, chaat masala. I wouldn't add the black pepper, but, you know, just gives it a different flavor. Now, we're talking about increasing fruits and vegetables, and I think this will become more important when I find out how much fruits and vegetables you're having. But, you know, we do eat a lot of rice, or in the north, you might eat more wheat. But this is a useful ingredient, a useful dish to have. It says raw rice dish. The rice is basically what you're doing is taking the cauliflower and chopping it real fine or put it through a food processor. So it blends until the size consistency is just as though it looks like rice. But you've got another vegetable added to your diet. So that's you've got cauliflower, pistachio. If you don't have pistachios, you can use other nuts, green jalapeno peppers or whatever green chilies that you might or might not use. Handful of cilantro, which is the coriander, garlic powder, onion powder, or you can use the fresh garlic and curry powder and coconut butter. Okay. Useful references, I'll let you have this, but these are wonderful references. And guess what? I don't know if any of you have seen this series, but it is really important if you can watch it. And that is Forks Over Knives. It's a documentary. It gives you the research. There's cowspiracy, seaspiracy, So if you're still eating seafood because you think fish is okay, watch Seaspiracy. If you do still have dairy, watch Cowspiracy. There is research to show. Okay, so that's me done for now. And let's talk. Any questions? Or have I bombarded you with so much information that you don't want to say anything? Okay, should I ask you one thing? Do you agree with what I've said so far?
Yes.
That's a simple yes or no answer.
Yes.
Okay. Are we putting these things into practice?
Some of them.
Okay, good. So the sum which we are putting into practice, maybe we could increase, but the things that we are not putting into practice could be a homework for tomorrow, could I say? The yes is not that forthcoming now?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I haven't looked at the questions, but any idea as to how many fruits and vegetables you're having? Have you counted? Either today or yesterday, just for the day.
I had guava today.
Brilliant. Very high in vitamin C. Good fruit to have.
I have today.
He highlighted you. Highlighted. Shh, highlighted. Sorry.
I had an apple.
You had?
An apple today.
Okay, brilliant. So roughly how many pieces of fruits and vegetables? Doing this, just the gallery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have you forgotten what you've eaten today?
I had 2 guavas. Then,
Okay.
boiled corn, sweet corn.
Okay. Yeah.
That was sufficient for me.
Huh. Who's speaking over there? I didn't get. Daryl, was that you speaking?
I'm Shaker here.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. So, and you said that was sufficient for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Could I challenge you on that? Maybe you think it's
Sure.
sufficient for you, but your body doesn't think that. Because remember what the World Health Organization is saying? We need 9 to 11 pieces of fruits and vegetables every day.
Oh,
In which case, 3 pieces is not enough.
so in that case, I had another things which weren't necessary.
Correct. So what I'm trying to say is what our plate needs to be filled with is fruits, vegetables. Okay, we need the whole grains, but if you think of your plate, what is your plate being filled with? Go on, give me what did you have for lunch or the evening meal?
It's usually rice or
Yeah.
dal,
Yeah,
chapati,
good.
salad.
Good. Okay, so you had salad. You didn't tell me you had salad. What was in the salad?
We had kale.
Only kheera.
Yeah. This, what do you call it?
Cucumber.
Cucumber, yes. Good.
Beetroot,
Good.
green gram sprouts,
Very nice.
little bit of onion.
Yeah,
So-
brilliant. Yeah, so all those items you can include as part of your fruits and vegetables because they are fruits and vegetables, isn't it? So that's in your daily allowance, which is great. Now, the rice, was it white rice or brown rice?
White rice.
White rice.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you would rather polish off all your B vitamins and fiber and a whole lot of other, polish them nicely, and then you will have what is left over. You know what is interesting? That bhusa, from the polished thing that we do, we give it to the animals. You know why? Because it's good for them. But it's good for us too. But we're saying now we are now privileged. We are affluent. Do you know that sentence I mentioned about diabetes when they did research in India? Actually, it's not just India, everywhere in other parts as well. Affluence brings with it these lifestyle diseases. So if you're diabetic, I know you go to the doctor says, oh, don't have rice. Or have a very small amount of rice. Why? Because you're having white rice. The white rice becomes sugar when you eat it. The white bread becomes sugar when you eat it. What brown rice does is it doesn't give you that spike. It goes and it keeps that sugar level balanced until your next meal. But we're not used to that flavor now, do we? I remember growing up in India, and I remember my mom sending us to the thing to grind the wheat. And she would give us some rice as well. And she would tell us very quietly, so my dad didn't hear, half and half. I didn't understand what half and half was. But what she was saying is, tell that mill grinder not to completely grind it, but to grind it partly, half white, half brown. So my dad won't shout because my dad he knew that brown rice was better for us. So we ought to be having brown rice. Now, you don't have to, I assume, because I didn't see mills in India this time, but you buy it, the rice already there, which is already polished. And the brown rice is more expensive. Well, in this country, probably in India as well, because majority of us are having white rice. And then you have, you don't just cook the rice. When it's special occasion, you put lots of fat in it. So it is even more difficult for your body to digest that. When it's diabetes, two things you've got to be careful for. One is your fat. Everybody talks about sugar, but actually it's your fat that you've got to be careful about. And that's why I said,
Oscar, sit down.
So it's the fat you're going to take, and the other thing is the physical exercise. So if you're walking right after your meal, it will help. Okay. 4 bananas. Wow. Guava, pomegranate. Very good. We use brown rice for noon lunch. Good. And what is good time to drink this detox tea? Actually, what I would say is if you want to detox and you want to have a clear out and you want to drink that tea, decide a day and just do it all day. Just give yourself a complete break and have a detox. Now, remember, fruits and vegetables also do that. But when fruits and vegetables are mixed with a whole load of other rubbish that we're eating, it cannot cope because you're not having, what we said, 3-4 pieces of fruits and vegetables, just not enough. Fruits are cleansers. And can I ask you why you're not having more fruits and vegetables? Is it habit? Or is it because your plate is so full of your curry and rice or chapati and whatever that you're not having vegetables? You go on, answer.
I think
Fruits are expensive.
Okay, fruits are expensive. Bananas are not expensive. Guavas are not expensive, or are they? And when you say expensive, it has to be in context when you're comparing it with something else. So if you're eating meat, meat is not expensive. Eggs are not expensive. Let's talk about this because this is a real issue. Because in our minds, we think that having this is expensive. I know we've got limited sources, okay? We don't have indefinite amount of money. But tell me, really, bananas, guavas, are they really that expensive?
Bananas are expensive.
Okay. They didn't used to be when I was growing up.
In Delhi,
Okay, which other fruit is cheaper?
Delhi, nothing is cheap.
No,
Delhi,
cheaper.
nothing is cheap.
Okay, vegetables then. But you're not eating something.
Carrot.
What are you
radish,
eating then?
I think the
Radish.
vegetables and fruits they cost the same. And like vegetables are about 60 rupees a kg. Fruits also would be about the same.
Okay, but okay, and okay,
And it's, I think, the mindset, like if I tell my mom to eat fruit, she'll say like, mera pet nahi bharega. So she will
correct,
ask for, dal, sabji and roti, which
correct,
will fill her stomach.
correct.
I think it's a mindset that
It
you
is.
would want to eat just little bit of fruits and eat more of grains and vegetables because you want to fill your stomach.
Correct. No, I completely agree. In fact, if you look at nutritional value, when you look at fruits and vegetables as opposed to your cooked, what you're saying about your rice and your dal and whatever, you're getting quite a lot of nutrition from raw foods. But I'm not saying that you're not getting from dal and rice either. But it is important that we have, see, okay, let me tell you, I was diagnosed with cancer. And when I had cancer, for my recovery, the first 10 days, because that was what I had gone there specific to learn how to go natural. It was salad, 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 salad for breakfast, salad for lunch, salad for evening meal. Now, salad was okay. I used to have salad, not that I didn't have it. For breakfast, I just wanted a healthy breakfast. By the third breakfast, I said, oh, I can't face it. I can't face salad for breakfast. That's a reality. Okay, what was my alternative? What was my choice? It's as simple as having salad that I was complaining about. The alternative was to go and have chemotherapy and radiotherapy, which is more drastic, which is more expensive. You're saying fruits and vegetables are expensive. What happens when you get ill? You'd rather go and take medication, and yet these fruits and vegetables are what are going to protect you, are going to cure you, and yet you would rather spend money on medication. I'm not saying medications are wrong, by the way. There is a time and place. If I broke my arm a year ago, fruits and vegetables were not going to heal my arm. I had to go to the hospital. I had to get it fixed. Doctors are important and medication is important. If I tell you that, to have, say, six carrots a day, you might think I'm mad. Are carrots that expensive? They're not actually. And you know what? The other thing as well is, me and my husband, over the last 4-5 years, we've been going to India quite regularly. We didn't even have a proper place to stay, so we had to eat outside. We used to go and have a thali. Okay, sometimes it was as expensive as 100 rupees a day, a meal. But that was a meal for the day. If I had cooked it at home, it would have been cheaper. But we need to weigh up what our priorities are. And if you count up, all the other things that we eat, like I mentioned to you about the sweets and the samosas and the bhajias and all that, they're fried. They're actually very good because they're vegetarian, but they're fried, and fried things are not, a body can't cope with it. What, any other questions that I have? No. It is expensive non-veg more than, hold on. It is expensive non-veg more than, okay. Thank you. Whoever's sent me that message that more non-veg is more expensive than fruits and vegetables. I feel lack of time also due to both. Yeah, I agree with this. Regarding lack of time, but then, it's easier to peel a banana or or an orange than to go and have, none of you have any things like crisps and all that, presumably. Yeah.
I want to ask you, ma'am, one question.
Yeah.
Doctors always say, if you have diabetic, don't take bananas.
Yeah.
Or say watermelon or
Yeah.
any other melon. So banana cannot be part of your diet if you are a sugar patient.
What I'm suggesting is let's reverse your sugar so you will be able to eat bananas. There is a doctor, forget, Freedom from Diabetes. He's Indian. He has sessions in Pune. He does it on the net as well. And I attended his session. He's not an Adventist. He's not even a Christian. They follow the principles that we follow as far as diabetes is concerned. 100,000 people, at a time have been, it started off with few people, but now if you look, what's his name? The name has gone out of my mind, but I will let you know tomorrow. What does he recommend? And, he's doing the same diet that I did for my cancer, which is lots of fruits and vegetables, green smoothies. And when I was talking to him in person, I was saying to him, and he said, well, we try and get the diabetic patients onto bananas as quickly as possible, because then they can see that the sugar spike is not there. The sugar spike is there because we're eating the wrong things and we're not exercising. So if we're exercising and we're making sure that we're having a whole foods plant-based diet, then we will help ourselves. Are we eating a whole foods? Means is our saying that, I'm talking about brown rice, but we will talk about grains, because we get stuck with just rice and maybe wheat. But there are so many, like Rajgira, right? Like the other grains that we need to be having and we're not having. And if we have them, they will actually help our diabetes as well. Because the wheat has been changed. What do you call it?
It's been hybridized.
Hybridized so much that, we're not getting the good old quality grain.
I had a question too.
Yeah.
In Indian cooking, I don't have, I don't use ghee in our home, but there are many homes that use ghee. And that's an integral part of the old style of traditional cooking, where we use ghee to, bring out the flavor in the dal or in the sabji, in curry and things like that.
Yeah.
You said not to use oil. Is ghee okay to use, or is does it come in the same category?
It would come in the same category, but what I would say is, let's get rid of the problems first. Then when you've got rid of the problems, then if you're using ghee a little bit at the end, not cooking with it, so you're not raising the temperature. Once the temperature is, I know to make ghee, you have to bring it to boil. Yeah. Like when we make ghee at home. However, if you don't have an issue, like I don't have diabetes and various other things, if I'm having rice and dal and put a little bit of ghee on top, different matter, because ghee has its own good qualities. It's not all bad. However, what we're doing is we're having a lot of ghee, and in fact, if it's pure ghee is one thing. Dalda is something, I don't know if you use that, they have the term dalda anymore. But if that is there, that's not good. That's what is clogging up your arteries. So then do you still want that? And then take medication to let the arteries be, unclogged? Well, if you stop the poison in the first place. So my answer to you would be, let's get rid of the problems. And also we've got, and the thing is, we are so used, every tarka will start off with oil, whether it be ghee or whether it be oil. But what I'm saying is really, in fact, if you look at Dr. Esselstyn, he used to be a heart surgeon in America. And he realized the same people are coming back to him all the time because they're getting clogged up. And he then decided, well, actually, I need to help people make a change before they get to this problem. He chooses his patients, because if the patients are not willing to change, he won't even consider them. And within a year, you could see the change. You could see the arteries clearing. Now, do we want to see that? That if you really want to see it, it's easy. What should I? It's simple, but it's not easy. But if we start making step-by-step progressions, it becomes part of life. Now, Friday, I bought some samosas, partly because we were in a place where there were lots of things and it smelled good, and my mom wanted, well, I'm giving the excuse, my mom wanted it, but I also needed to bring it for my session this morning. Now, I had the samosas. I haven't had it for a long time, and my stomach was upset. Now, I enjoyed it, but my body didn't enjoy it. We need to start listening to what our body is saying. And if we start tuning into our body's, what your stomach will tell you that, and things that you used to enjoy, you don't enjoy anymore. And you think, I used to really like that, but now it doesn't taste any good. Why? Because your taste buds have changed. And, one of the reasons why changing your taste buds, when you change from using oil and having more fruits and vegetables, you will find that your taste buds have changed and you will actually start liking lesser things. We will also look at some salads that you can include in your diet, because that's something quick. I know you said about working and, not having that time. Lovely. For breakfast, using millets and nuts for lunch, and rice and dal and vegetable for salad. For dinner, chapati wrap with some veggies. Oh, that sounds brilliant. Please correct me if no. That sounds brilliant, Jyoti. What you have suggested. Just the wrap, I would say, just make sure that it's whole wheat, or you can do oats wraps as well, and I'll show you how you can use that as well. Cold pressed oil, good for health. Really, coconut is okay. When you process the coconut, you get the oil. What we are saying is, if you stay close to nature and less processing, your body will recognize it. So if you're having coconut, you don't have cholesterol. You have coconut oil, you could get cholesterol. You have olives in its natural form, body recognizes, and no problem. You convert that olive oil, which is very good, but if you process it and change it and convert it, and the thing is, it's not just the first virgin oil you get, again, because of expense, then it changes and changes and changes, more and more processed. How much nutrition is left? Another thing is, for it to be on your shelves, in the shop, you want long life. If you want long life, then they have to process it more. But what are they putting in to process, and how is it affecting your body? You don't see it. You only see the end result with inflammation in your body, with diabetes, with blood pressure. And then what you say is, oh, my father had it, my mother had it, I'm of that age. Now, that's no excuse why God, right in the beginning, Pastor said, God wants us to have abundant life. And then who was it? Was it Daryl, you mentioned, if if you're driving a car, or you're riding a bike, and you get a message, to say that your light comes on to say you've got less fuel in the car. What are you going to do? Chop off the message, or are you going to go and listen to what the message says? Inflammation, your body is telling you something is wrong. Pain, body is telling you something is wrong. What are you doing? Going and taking medicine to cut off the message. I don't want to hear that message because I'm too busy. I'm working. I've got a family. I've got to clean the house. And you come to a place wherein when cancer comes along and, different stages of diabetes or blood pressure or cardiovascular disease comes along, then you say, problem. Then we come and pray. I'm not saying praying is wrong. Praying is very good. Let's pray now that God will open our eyes and allow us to make the changes we need to make.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah.
From childhood, we prepare more chapati and rice and dal and the vegetables. So it is easy to change our habit.
No, I'm not saying change your habit. All I'm saying is increase your vegetables. So still have your rice, still have your dal, still have your chapati. Okay. But that is only going to form a quarter of your plate. Half of the plate should be vegetables.
Thank you, ma'am.
So at the minute, what we're filling in is the chapati and the rice. But what I'm saying, no, reduce that and increase the vegetables. I grew up with one, rice, dal, chapati, and one vegetable. In fact, we would have the same vegetable to take in our lunchbox as we would have in the evening. We went. That's all we could afford. However, if you go sprout, your bean sprouts, they are not expensive. Don't tell me that's expensive. Because your mung beans, your, the greens, different kinds of beans which can be sprouted. Sprout them. You are getting so much, your nutritional value of mung from mung beans to mung sprouted beans, 100-fold. So have sprouts every day. So actually, how when we do a thali, you have all these vegetables and things. The biggest portion is rice. That's what we need to take out. That shouldn't be the biggest portion. Okay. Is how to overcome sugar cravings. That is hard. I'm telling you, it's hard. However, you can overcome those sugar cravings. You know what is interesting? It's not just sugar cravings that you have to be careful about. Your white rice, that will give you a sugar craving. Your white bread will give you a sugar craving. Your all these junk food basically will give you sugar cravings. So all of these are related. And when I talk about the or the various things like the crisps and the chowder and all of them have things which add to your cravings. So you can't just take the sugar out, because there is sugar in so many things without even realizing. However, if you start having more fruits and vegetables, the taste buds change. When your taste buds change, then your cravings will change. And there's the other thing is, I'm not saying no Indian sweets. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you've got to think outside the box. We need to start learning how to make nice desserts using dates, fruits, coconut, nuts. All of these can be done. It's interesting. If quite a lot of people over here are Adventists, we say no to drink. Yeah. As in fermented drink. What's the word I'm looking for?
Alcoholic drinks.
Alcoholic, thank you. Yeah, alcoholic drinks. However, you know the sugar and milk combination of most of the Indian sweets. Sugar and milk, when it goes in the stomach, becomes alcohol. Your ice cream, sugar and milk, when it goes into the stomach, it becomes alcohol. We are not complaining. We're having them and we're enjoying them. I'm not saying that we can't enjoy our food. It's just learning how we can change those combinations so it becomes good and healthy and enjoyable. Yeah? So if you come tomorrow and the day after, and the day after that,
don't pull. Go.
we will talk about how we can make those changes. And I would like to really suggest, because this is a big thing, try making a vegetable tomorrow without oil. Okay, just try, see how bad it tastes, or do you really notice the difference? Or okay, dal might be easier. You know the tarka that we give, don't give, you know, you can still pop the mustard seeds and the jeera and all and the garlic and all that, but without putting the oil. Just try it. I would really like to know your opinions about that, because if you can do that with one, you can do that with something else. Agreed? But this is only if you want to look good and feel great. If you don't want to look good and feel great, it's a choice that you're making. Can you suggest?
No, please.
Oil-free
Don't do all this thing.
Yes, jaggery is good than white sugar. Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's jaggery, there's sultanas, raisins, but sultanas and raisins in India are a little bit more expensive. Jaggery is cheaper. And dates, I don't know how expensive dates are in India when you compare, but again, that is a very good alternative.